everyone, I'm Terri and welcome to Finding Joy Over 50. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about something that has brought me a lot of joy, which is my weight loss through taking a GLP1. I currently take Mounjaro 15 milligrams, which is the max milligram. I've lost 142 pounds in 3 years. I started my journey 3 years ago this month, and I have been going strong ever since. I am very grateful that it's controlled my blood sugar, so I haven't had to take any other diabetic medication, and it has had the wonderful side effect of weight loss. It hasn't been a real fast journey for me. 3 years is a long time, and I still have about another 50 or 60 pounds to go. But I am grateful for every part of this journey because it's led me to where I am today, feeling a little happier, a little more normal, and finding a whole lot of joy. I started Ozempic in July of 2023, and I started on the 2.5 dose and titrated up as I felt I needed it for my appetite and the food noise to get all of that controlled. So I wanted to look back at what my numbers were, my health numbers, and share with you where they were and where they are today. So I started out, like I said, July 2023 with a weight of 365 pounds. I now weigh 223 pounds. That's a loss of 38.9% of my overall body weight. My BMI was 55.06 and is now 36.41. My blood pressure at the time was 146/85. I think it was just high that day because I usually was around 120/80. Today it's kind of on the low side. It's usually the high end of the low. 89/61 was where I was a month ago when I went into the doctor. My cholesterol has gone way, way down. I was at 235 overall cholesterol. I had an LDL of 161 and an HDL of 46. The HDL is the so-called good cholesterol, and I have been trying everything to get that up, and I really haven't had a whole lot of luck until recently. My cholesterol now overall is 152, so it went from 235 to 152. My LDL is 82, so it went from 161 to 82, basically cut it in half. And my HDL luckily went up, so it went up to 59. That's the highest I've ever been able to get it, and I'm still working on that. Exercise and healthy oils and fish oils are supposed to help that, so I'm working on that. So let's see, I went from a 46 on the HDL to a 59. My A1C, which is why I started taking the Mounjaro, was a 6.6. So it wasn't a lot. It wasn't that high as far as diabetes goes, but it was just at the start of the diabetes realm, which I think is 6.5. So I was 6.5, and I'm now a 5.2. So it's very well controlled on the GLP-1. So when I looked at these today, I cannot tell you how much joy this brought me. But when I looked at the percentage, it really surprised me that I had lost 38.9% of my weight. That's like half of me almost. I'm almost there. It's crazy. So I have another 50 or 60 pounds left to lose. So at that point, we'll see what it all looks like. But sometimes reviewing your numbers really helps to re-motivate you, and it certainly has for me, and that's where I found my joy today. I would like to talk about 10 things that I would recommend to anybody starting a GLP-1. Now, I am not an expert per se. However, I have been on it 3 years, so I've had time to learn a few things. That being said, this is not medical advice. I am not a medical professional, but I would like to share my personal experience. So that's where I speak from, my personal experience only, and what I've learned being on this medication the last 3 years. So 10 things that I would like to share to anyone starting on this medication. So if you're just starting out and you haven't even seen a doctor yet, the most important thing, in my opinion, is to find a doctor that you can trust, someone you can talk to about personal issues, because sometimes we have side effects and we need to be able to discuss this with our doctor. You also want to make sure that you pick a physician that is knowledgeable a little bit about weight loss and obesity and these medications. Now, these medications have not been out very long. So the medical professionals are basically learning from the trials that they've seen, and they are also learning along with us as they watch their patients and our side effects and the things that we give feedback to them about. That's how they're learning as well. I don't think we've ever really, in my generation, been in a situation where a new drug has come out where there's so many people on it that can offer that feedback. So it's interesting to see doctors' perspectives starting to change a little bit as they learn more every year from their patients. So that would be the very first thing. I would also suggest that if you have 10 or 20 pounds to lose and that's all that you have, I would highly think twice before going on these medications. There are side effects that do happen, and it's not worth it. It's really meant, in my opinion, it's really meant for more of a long-term commitment. Now, if you don't have food noise in your head, which is when the kitchen is calling to you or you have constant cravings, if you don't have insulin resistance, these drugs may not do the trick for you. In my opinion, people that don't have that food noise don't always understand what those of us with obesity are dealing with. I'm not trying to negate what you're feeling. 10 or 20 pounds is a lot of poundage for some people. But if it's not an ongoing problem for you, you've just gained 20 pounds and you need to lose it, these may not be the right path for you. Now, of course, you have to make that decision along with your doctor. But in my opinion, with the side effects that can happen, and really, in a lot of times, for somebody that has food noise, it's a longer term commitment. So, is that something that you want to commit to? Financially, it can be very taxing. If you don't have diabetes, your insurance may not cover it. So that is definitely something that you need to think about. So that's number 2. Number 3, be prepared for the side effects. There are side effects. Now, you've probably read about most of them. Maybe you've experienced a few. Gastral upset, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, lack of appetite, lack of joy in your food. I remember I didn't want coffee. I didn't want wine. I didn't want really any kind of junk food at all. And although that is what the medication is supposed to do, and that was really positive things for me, there was a little bit of joy that was taken out of the food that I was eating. So you have to mentally prepare yourself that you have to find alternatives to those food that brought you joy, because it really is true. There have been a lot of medical professionals, psychologists that say one of the hardest things is to give up the food you love. Your taste buds sort of somehow change, and all of a sudden you don't want them. And people have not been finding joy in their food, and that has shown by some people to be major problems psychologically for them. Maybe that's the only joy in their life that they have. That can cause a problem. So you need to think about that and prepare yourself mentally for, okay, so I might not like that favorite food anymore. What can I eat as an alternative to give me the same amount of joy? Sometimes you don't see these things coming and you're like, oh man, I really wanted that ice cream and I put it in my mouth and blah, it's not good. So, what I do? I freeze bananas and I put a little chocolate on it, and that's my frozen treat. And My body isn't rejecting it. It likes that. So again, we're all different. We need to find our way. But mentally, you do need to prepare yourself for that possibility that you may not like certain things. Maybe think about having some constipation type medications in the house in case you need them, or Pepto-Bismol type medication for upset stomach or diarrhea. I found that taking a couple of capsules of magnesium at night help if I do have some constipation. If you're eating a little bit different diet, if you're eating a higher level of protein, you may find that you have chronic constipation because of it. Personally, for me, I'm good with the protein in the vegetables, but you give me a piece of bread or carbohydrates, and I'm going to need to take that magnesium every night. So number 4, I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be so afraid of those side effects that you're not willing to try this if you think this is something that will really help you. This has been a game changer for me. It has completely changed my life in so many ways. I am so, so grateful for being able to get this medication at an affordable cost. Part of the problem is that people are getting so afraid of these things that they're not willing to try it. So, I'm not saying you should. Again, this is the decision that you have to make with your doctor. You don't want to have allergic reactions. You don't want to have, constant constipation. But I will tell you that sometimes when you're on it for a little bit, your body will normalize and you'll be okay. Number 5, don't be in such a hurry to titrate up in dosage. In the medical trials, they titrated up from the bottom all the way to the top. So no matter what GLP medication you're on, I believe that all the trials pretty much started and every month they moved them up. Well, the reason for that was because they had limited time in these trials. So they needed to see what would happen. The problem is, in the very beginning, a lot of medical professionals were having people titrate up just like it was in the studies. The problem is, once you get there, you've got nowhere else to go once you're at the highest. Now, I've been on these medications for 3 years, and I am at the highest, and I've been at the highest for about a year now. Luckily, they are still working for me. They work on the food noise, and they work on the appetite. But when I first started, I wasn't able to eat a hamburger, a full hamburger. Eating half of it was a lot for me. Now I can polish off that burger, no problem. But I'm not as tempted, and when I eat it, I am feeling that fullness where I had never felt that before. But if you have obesity, it is recognized now as a disease. And if you have the disease of obesity, you probably have that lack of satiety that happens when you eat. So for me, these medications have really helped. And even being on it as long as I have, it has really helped me hit that point of I'm eating something and I feel the fullness now, which I had never felt before. So if you titrate up slowly, a couple of things can happen. First of all, you learn how these medications are reacting in your body. When you start to feel the food noise come back and you start to feel the hunger come back, that's a sign that you may need to titrate up. If you're not feeling that way, you don't need to move up, in my opinion. For me, I didn't need to move up. If I started to feel those things, I would give it a week and see if it passed. Sometimes it was my hormones. Sometimes I just had a bad week. But if I still felt that after a week, the food noise came back and I felt hunger, like overwhelming hunger, I knew it was time to move up. You're going to feel a little bit hungry. You want to feel a little bit hungry. That's your body's way of telling you it's time to eat and feed it nutrition. If you don't feel that, that's not normal. You need to feel some type of hunger. It's not no hunger or starvation. When it's time to eat, your body should be calling you by the hunger signal that it's time to eat. So maybe give it a few days before you titrate up, because in the beginning, you may not feel any appetite at all. So when it starts to come back, that's okay. But if that food noise comes back, that is what I used as more of an indicator. So I would wait. And once I felt that, I would reach out to my doctor and say, okay, I'm ready to move up. If he said, oh, you can move up now, I would say in my own mind, thank you, but I am going to see how I feel in a week or 2 weeks. And if I don't feel these things come back, I would not titrate up. I think the medical professionals were just going by the information they had received from other medical professionals and from these trials. They really didn't know any better, and they still don't, because it's all so new. So being aware of this is really helpful, because if you titrate up too quickly, you could have more side effects. So that's one thing. One thing, not only are you not rushing the process, but you're going to have less side effects the slower that you move up. So don't be in such a hurry. Don't rush it. Besides cutting down on the side effects and getting you to the top and then you have nowhere else to go, titrating up slowly helps your body to adjust a little at a time. Your body is your friend. You need to allow your gastric area to adapt to all the things that are happening. Your digestion is slowing when you're on these medications. So it's really important to allow your body to adjust to that process. The next thing is to make sure that you keep close contact with your doctor. Let them know how you're feeling. If you don't have regular appointments with them, touch in through video conference or via email, and just make sure that you keep in touch so they can move your prescription up if needed, or they can adjust or suggest different things if you're having side effects or you're having issues, or even if it's going great. You want to make sure to let your doctor know. It affects how they will treat you going forward. The next thing is to incorporate as many healthy habits that you can into your daily routine. Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Lift a few weights. Now, do you need to exercise? No, not really. You don't need to exercise to lose weight, in my opinion. And I did a whole video on this, so check it out. But basically, it's going to help you, right? It's going to help your mental. You're going to feel better. You're going to want to do more. You feel like you're doing something good for yourself. As you continue to lose weight, you're probably going to want to do more of those healthy exercises. And if you incorporate a little bit of weight training into your program, you will lose more weight, because you are simply building muscle, and more muscle burns more fat. So cut out the bad food. If you're a fast foodaholic like I was, start slowly incorporating more fruits, more vegetables. You want to concentrate on your protein and your fiber. Fiber is really good for your overall health. Again, I am not a medical professional, but I do know that both insoluble and soluble fiber are needed by your body. It's really important. And I didn't have enough fiber in my diet when I started this. So I slowly started to incorporate more vegetables and more fiber into my diet. It has helped improve my digestion. And it's also helped with the level of protein that I need to eat every day. I eat between 100 and 120 grams a day. And that is mainly to preserve the muscle that I have and before I was on GLP-1, it would help with my hunger. Now it's more about preserving the muscle so I don't lose my muscle while I'm on this journey of weight loss. Is embrace the stalls. What do I mean by that? We all hit stalls. We all hit a plateau in every diet that we do. You lose 5 pounds, you lose 10 pounds, you lose 20 pounds, and all of a sudden you're stuck. So I've had that happen quite a few times, almost every other month. But for 2 times, it happened for 6 months in a row. I stayed on the program. I went full force into my healthy eating. And during those stalls, I learned how to maintain the weight loss that I had already achieved. Basically, my body didn't want to lose any more weight. It wanted to level out. It wanted to get used to the weight that I was now at. Although I tried to fight it, right? I didn't starve myself. I just stayed with the amount of protein I was supposed to be eating, incorporated in the fruits, the vegetables, the fiber, amped up the exercise a little bit just to see if it would help. But I will tell you that my body didn't want to budge for 6 months, and this happened to me twice. At one point, I changed from Ozempic to Mounjaro, and that broke my stall. That helped because the Mounjaro is a GLP and a GLP-1. So apparently, I was at the point where I needed a little bit more help. So that's what I did. Started on the Mounjaro, the tirzepatide, and that helped break that first stall. Now, why was it important to have the stall? Well, I'll tell you. Use the time to not get frustrated, but to see what your body needs to maintain that weight. If you're not losing, you don't want to gain. So your goal at this point should be to try to maintain where you are or lose, but not to gain. So what do you have to do in your diet, in your daily routine to maintain where you're at? Are you doing everything that you can be doing? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough protein? Are you eating enough calories? Sometimes you're not eating enough calories. Those are things you should be evaluating when you stall out. But embrace the time. Try not to be in such a hurry. Embrace the time because you will learn during these periods how to maintain where you are. And when you reach your goal, it will be so much easier because you've learned along the way. That has been my biggest lesson because I always wanted to lose it quickly. Well, here I am 3 years later, and I still have 50 to 60 pounds to lose. But you know what? I actually really embraced those times when I stalled out. And I am so grateful because now I'll lose 5 pounds and then I'll hold. And I'll hold for maybe a month sometimes. But then eventually the weight starts to come off again. But I'm learning, what do I need to do? Am I eating enough? Maybe I wasn't eating enough. Reevaluate what you're doing at those points and learn your body. Learn how your body is going to maintain that weight. Because I don't know about you, but I think most of us that are on these medications and are experiencing the disease of obesity, the biggest problem is not losing the weight. It's keeping it off. And I think we've all done yo-yo diets from everybody I've talked to that has obesity. We've lost 100 pounds, 50 pounds, 10 pounds, and we've always gained it back. So the goal should be, when you hit your goal, how are you going to maintain it? Start that thought process from day one and don't rush through it. Just embrace the stalls because it will bring so much knowledge to you. And it will also allow your body to reset, right? It's going to reset and say, okay, now I'm here. Eventually it will give up and stop fighting you, and then it'll let go and allow you to continue losing again. It's the same story I've heard from everybody. So you don't have to be a doctor to know that. But I do have to learn how my body responds, and you have to learn how your body responds to it. The other thing about these stalls and the time that it takes to get over those stalls, one of the biggest things is that your body is shrinking and your skin has time to adapt. If you get on this program or any diet program, if you get on these medications or any program and you lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds in a month, 2 months, 3 months, your skin doesn't have time to bounce back. And you're going to end up with loose skin if you have a lot of weight to lose like I do. I don't have that much loose skin. I still have a lot of fat to lose, so we'll see what it looks like in the end. But after 142 pounds, I don't feel like I have like tons of skin hanging or losing. And that's because I took it slow. I knew this was going to be a long-term goal. It was going to be something that was going to take some time. So mentally, remember, it's going to take you some time. And if you embrace those changes in the stalls, your skin will appreciate it. And you will appreciate that you may not have to do skin surgery at the end of all of this. To embrace the journey, make sure you weigh yourself. Now, some of us have to weigh ourselves every day. Some of us can't mentally handle that. We want to do once a week, once a month. Personally, I weigh every day. And the reason I do that is it keeps me accountable. It also helps me to autocorrect. If I ate something the day before I shouldn't have eaten, what do I have to do the next day to lose that water? Do I need to drink more water and then I will lose that water weight the next day? Do I need to cut out something during the day because I ate too many calories the day before? It allows me to autocorrect. The other thing is take your measurements from day one. I am so upset with myself because I had all my measurements written down in a notebook and I cannot find that notebook. I am so bummed out, and I thought I put it in my phone, but I cannot find it anywhere. You will want to know what you started at because a lot of times you don't have weight loss on the scale. The weight loss will be seen in your inches. So your arms, your top of your arms, the bottom of your arms, your knees, the top of your thighs, your hips, your waist, even your neck. You can even measure your feet, whatever. Just keep track. Do it when you start to feel your weight loss every 20 pounds. Document it. At the end, you're going to want to see it. You're going to want to look at it and go, oh, what if you feel like I haven't done any, I've lost 30 pounds. I'm not seeing it in my clothes. Excuse me. I'm not seeing it on the scale. Look at those measurements. You're going to see it there. You're going to see it in pictures. Take a picture of yourself once a month and see. I have major body dysphoria. I look in the mirror and I still see a really fat person. And yeah, I still have a lot of weight to lose. But if I compare my pictures from when I was 365 pounds to now, boy, can I see it in the pictures. It makes me feel better. It makes me know that I'm making progress. Mentally, I don't want to give up. I want to keep going. And at the same time, I'm patting myself on the back that I'm really, really proud of myself. So that's what I would suggest. Those are my 10 things. If you're starting a GLP-1, please take this video to heart. I really think that it will help you with your progress. It will help you with your mental on how you approach it. It will help you celebrate the wins. So I hope this video has helped you a little bit because I know when I was first starting, I wish that somebody knew more to tell me. I went to YouTube. I listened to videos. I did as much research as I could. I looked up the trials. I talked to my doctors. But there wasn't that much information back then. And now, 3 years later, everybody's on this GLP-1. And it's so much information, which is fantastic. So I want to encourage you to do your research. But I hope that what I've said today helps you a little bit. And I'm going to wish you finding joy in your GLP weight loss. Truly embrace it. Find your joy. Have a beautiful day. And thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today.